Good morning. How do you usually respond when someone says something like, I want to challenge your thinking about that? If you're like most people, your autonomic response is defensive. That means we immediately begin formulating our response in defense of this challenge. Now, I'm still a fan of challenging ideas and conclusions. I mean, that's the only way we can really bolster our critical thinking. But can we do it in a way that doesn't feel like an attack? For this, I haven't really figured this out yet, but maybe if we drop the word challenge in those cases and instead offer an alternative to consider. Could this help us through some political discussions? I mean, too many political comments and discussions on social media are driven by rage or outrage or passion or other emotions. It doesn't help that two people can look at the exact same data presented in the same way or even look at the same video and come to radically different conclusions. And both would still likely be wrong. Now, if we pause our commitment to one answer long enough to consider the other side, how much progress could we really make? Let's leave the word challenge to represent a difficult goal that we want to pursue and attain. My current challenge is to walk a half marathon in every state and U.S. territory within 2 years. Now, COVID-19 kind of screwed that up, but I'm getting fired back up again this month with a virtual race in Maryland the Saturday after Thanksgiving. The virtual race idea sounded pretty weird at first, but organizers are still giving t-shirts and medals and other race swag and allowing people to run on their own instead of in the giant crowd. And I think that's a great workaround for the COVID constraints that we have. With Pfizer's announcement about the effectiveness of their vaccine, I'm hopeful that we'll be back to real races in the middle of next year. My other current favorite challenge is orienteering. Now, I read about orienteering in a book called The Great Escape way back in 1972, and I was hooked. Organizers plan courses of different levels of difficulty and distance in a park and hang orange and white markers at different locations and on different landmarks or pieces of terrain, and then mark that on a map. At the start of the course, the runners get their maps and they have to find their own way to each one of those markers in sequence. It's great fun. The Orienteering Club in Cincinnati, OSIN, offers a series of races every week from November through February. Last year they were done really well, and I am really looking forward to getting started this coming weekend. They're challenging, they make you think, and they're always a lot of fun. One more example of a challenge I want to share is with rock climbing. I used to do a lot, but now not so much. Last week, Emily Harrington became the first woman to free climb a route on El Capitan, a famous rock face in Yosemite, in under a day. That is a beast of accomplishment. Now, her approach was different from Alex Honnold's free solo climb of El Cap in 2017. She still used ropes for protection, and Alex didn't, which I think is pretty crazy. But that's what his challenge was. One of these days I hope to get out and do a little bit more rock climbing, maybe do a little bit on El Capitan itself. What's going to challenge you? What's your next challenge? I'm David Veach. This is Elevate Your Performance. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.